Okay, welcome back for the first time in a long time, first time this year to the Jahmel MMA series. I did say I would be back eventually, and I think it's very fitting the guest have today. Someone who, through, I guess, the butterfly effect, had kind of had a massive impact on me and my career as well. So I want to just thank you for that. So do you want to introduce yourself, of course, first of all, to anyone who might know you and we can get into it?
Yeah, man. So it's Jahmel Westcarr, or people that know me, Jahmmy Montanna, anything like that. You get me?
I'll put the socials on at the bottom there if you want to go and follow on that. But yeah, like I said, tell me if I'm getting anything wrong here. It was CLD who saw your MMA fight in person, and that's when he wanted to start training. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Back in 2015, still. So I've been in the fight game for a while.
I was going to say, and obviously through that, like watching CLD, watching his interviews and that really changed the way I looked at MMA and the way I trained as well. So I just thank you for that as well for that reason. But
I gotta say, he's got to take all the credit himself, man. You get me? I might have planted the seed like when he came to watch, man, but this brother then sprouted into his own different kind of 100%. Monster.
100%. Touching you first here. So was it your last fight was 2018, right?
IMAF.
2018. What was the main reason for? Because you meant fight in June, I believe. It started in June, and then that fight couldn't go through. What was the reason for the layoff between now and 2018?
Life, man. Literally life. So that's not the first layoff I had. First layoff was from 2015 to 2018. So obviously I had my debut in 2015. And then not too long after that, my best friend died, got murdered by stabbing. And then 8 months after that, my younger brother passed away as well in a motorcycle accident. So yeah, literally life just got in the way on that. Managed to get myself back into a good place mentally, physically. And in 2018, we just went on a good tear. We went on a good run. Had four fights in that year. And then obviously lost my first fight to my now teammate, Craig Rawlins. Then I went to IMAF, felt good. Unfortunately, lost that fight as well to the same method, triangle choke. And then I found out that I was going to be a dad when I come back home from IMAF. So literally, I just wanted to put my focus on being a dad. You get me? So I was still training in that, still still like present in the gym and all them kind of things there. But I had to put all my time and my energy into my little boy. You get me?
100%, man. Makes sense. So with the recent fight not going through, you said you're just getting back into training. You don't have a fight scheduled up. Do you have any timeline to when you might be getting back in there? Any promotion or anything?
I was hoping to be matched up for the 2nd of September. Nothing came back. Possibly October the 14th. Just waiting to see if anybody wants to take the fight. You get me? But yeah, man, I just stay ready. Like obviously September's a bit too soon now for me. I want to have a good camp. Like from the beginning of the year up until June, I had 2 fights fall through. So I've been in camp. That was 6 months straight in camp. Obviously, we were supposed to fight in March. That fell through. And then supposed to fight in June. Caught the flu. And I was just completely fucked 2 days before the fight.
Yeah.
I was still in my mindset. The fight was still going to happen. I was going to turn up and fight. But when it got to the point when it was affecting my breathing and I couldn't breathe, it's not worth the risk. You get me?
So with that fight with our own cartridge, I believe it was, some fighters, it's a fight and then it goes and it's gone. But some people, they never want to let up on the effort they put into that fight and preparing for it. Is that a fight that you want back just because you did put that time in that training camp all up?
Yeah, man. I'd love to have that fight still. Like when you talk of heavyweights in the UK, his name is what's being mentioned. You get me? So, you know, to be the best, you got to fight the best. So, yeah, man, that's definitely a fight that I like still. I don't really know of any other heavyweights in the UK, to be honest, in the amateur scene. My plan was to have a couple of amateur fights this year, like 3-4 solid fights, and then hit the pro ranks next year. But yeah, we've been the year, not had one fight yet, but we'll see what happens. We've still got 4 months left?
Yeah, still got a decent. We're only halfway through, just about now. Yeah, so
might be able to squeeze.
I was going to say you're not really that old. You're about 30, I believe you said in Typology.
Yeah. 30 just turned.
So in the heavy, and especially that's not that old in general, but in the heavier weight classes, it starts to get a lot to the point where, like, think about Glover Teixeira. We just seen him as champion when he was like 43. So is that still the plan to go forward, get amateur fights ranked up, go pro, go through maybe Cage Warriors, and what's the typical traditional route in the UK?
100%. I feel like because I've come from middleweight and gradually gone up to heavyweight, I think I've got something special that I bring to the heavyweight division. Like and not just in the UK but worldwide. We just gotta be able to showcase that in it. Once it can be showcased, people know that I'm not gasping and talking shit. You get me?
That's one of the things we've got to say. Typically in MMA, it does seem like skill does transfer up a weight class a lot of the time. And the fights you can find yours on YouTube, that skill at you at middleweight, because you look very good in them fights. Your ground game really impressed me in the fights I've watched in those fights, the Cage Wars fights.
So, I'm a striker. Like my striking is like high level striking, but I've not been matched up where I can showcase that yet. But it just goes to show that I'm comfortable wherever the fight can go, ground or stood up.
So if you watch that, so that definitely can transit up there. Obviously, one of the main training partners that people know from the gym will be CLD. Who are some of the more unknown fighters that don't get as much publicity and haven't made it to those higher ranks that you I think are very good in your gym?
In my gym, do some plugs still. You got obviously Jordan Little. He's got his name coming up. His name's ringing bells in the UK circuit right now, so I don't really need to say too much on him. Got Dan Stevens, brother's a savage, but he's not had a fight for a few years like me as well. Hopefully he comes back and gets into fighting, because in the gym, this guy is different. He's got it all. Got Zana Calorie, who I train with as well. He's coming up in the ranks. You know, his career it started off kind of rocky, and then he just started putting man to sleep. You get me? So he's definitely one to watch out for as well. We've got loads of other fighters too. My boy Liam Shotbolt, he stepped away from MMA. Yeah, he stepped away from MMA for a while, but he could be making a comeback. If he does, you heard it here first. You get me? We'll see what happens. That brother there, savage, super talented. And we got a lot of up and comers as well. Like we got some proper young, fresh guys. Big up Craig Rawlins as well. Like I said, he was my first loss, foe turned friend. He's doing things in the pro ranks as well now. And big up my guy Richard Nottingham as well. You get me? He's not had his win yet when he comes to for his fights, but the brother turns up to the gym. He puts on a show. He entertains and he works his ass off. And anybody else in the gym that I've missed out, big up you anyway. You get me? We just got to keep this time down, you know?
Yeah, anyone there that loves to watch the UK regional scene, there's a bunch of names you can go and research there. But like with Liam Shotbolt, when they did that Fight Pass documentary on Mark Wheeler, the two fighters that they showcased in that documentary were CLD and Liam Shotbolt. How much of a help is someone like Mark Queer, who's so experienced, so focused on the game, he's so smart when it comes to MMA? How helpful is that having him around the gym?
Bro, crazy. Like, he's been there and he's done it all. I know Mark more on a personal level probably to some of the other fighters, because him and my dad were on the come up together. So Mark is like a second father figure to me, you get me? So me and Mark are really close. Mark took me under his wing. I think I started training from the age of like 19. I took training seriously from the age of 19. And yeah, we're here now. I'm 30. So
definitely, man. So I do want to get into CLD here, because so if you were the catalyst for him starting his career, to him getting to where he is now, at what point did you realise that this guy has what it takes to go all the way? Was it from early on, or was it like a more slow burn?
Well, I knew Christian from before MMA anyway, so I already knew that he had the minerals to do this kind of thing anyway. Like, yeah, when we was younger, this guy used to terrorize me. Him and my little brother used to be little terrorists. So yeah, but probably from his first fight still, because he had that first fight, the decision didn't go his way, from what I can remember, and he just went on. He was straight back in the gym. You get me? Didn't phase him, nothing like that. And yeah, he literally just went on a tear. His dedication was good. Like, he was in the gym more than me. At one point, I was the poster boy of the gym. You get me? Yeah. I was in the gym all the time. I was top attendance. I was there probably like 3-4 hours a day sometimes in the gym. And he just went, just get me right past, man. And I was like, all right, cool. Because at the point where nobody was outworking me, and then he started to outwork me, I knew this brother was something special, man.
It does seem like he's just purely dedicated to making himself the best martial artist well-rounded as possible. Remember, we talked about it in games a bit as well. I want to talk about the UFC debut in London. You were in attendance for that fight, right?
Yeah, man, 100%. Yeah, I was there. It was great. Lit.
Obviously not like the ideal outcome, but what it did do, it was, first of all, the walkout song. That didn't mean a lot to you to see that song be showcased on the big stage like that. That obviously meant a lot to him as well. Not the ideal outcome, but it was a win. It was a first round finish, and he did, like, people look at a fight. You can learn a lot from just what you see in that fight, because Dusko Todorovic is not the bottom of the middleweight division. That's not an easy debut. That's not one of the guys who are on a losing skid or anything like that. He's solid in the UFC, and he looked very good in the feet early there. I remember like DC and commentary bigging him up, saying he looked good in the feet, Bisping as well. What were the main takeaways? Just seeing that someone who knew, like you said before, MMA in the O2 on a pay-per-view in the UK. What was that like?
On a personal side for me, it was like, if he can do it, why can't I do it? You get me? Like we've been on the come up together. You get me? We're from the same place. We put the same works in. We know the same people. We've got the same links. We've got the same connections. Why the hell can't I do it? And that's why I was like, yeah. I was really obviously in camp. I already said to myself, this year is going to be the year that I proper knuckle down and get into it. So I was already working my ass off anyway, but it just lit an even bigger fire. You get me? But even like, big him up on that performance there, man. Like, it's not one of those fights where the fight started and Dusko just blew his knee out. Like, Christian was doing work in there, you get me? Them kicks there right to the leg. He caught him with a couple of shots. And Christian, listen, I am almost 40 kg heavier than Christian. I walk around like 127-ish. Yeah. Christian is a strong guy. Like, against the cage, his cage work is crazy. His strength is crazy.
I don't find that hard to believe because I go in depth for COD fight. You can't make sure I know who everyone's picking for that fight. I make sure to weed out all that stuff. And anyone, it's hard to find, but people who were picking Dusko, they say he's got to expose his wrestling. What happened was Dusko tried to engage him in the clinch. He got held up against the cage. He was out-muscled. He was out-worked. Dusko could not get his back up. As soon as he put his position, his knee went out. And like I said, there was that combo against the cage. He got the oblique kick, side kick, straight left. Like, he was just teeing off in the feet, basically. Nothing against Dusko or anything, but I genuinely do believe that knee doesn't go out, he wins that fight. That's just how I believe it.
1 minute, listen, I know Christian, innit? I know when he's getting into his rhythm, and I can see he was getting into his rhythm. You know, when like you're under the big lights, everybody's gonna have some nerves in that, innit? And he was just cool, calm, collective, and he just looked ready to work. Like I knew he was about to get to it. Unfortunate ending, but it is what it is, man.
Like, as a massive fan of his, I was also waiting for that. I was like, I would be able to tell, I think, how he was on that fight. The second he came out and he started moving about, I was like, that's fine. This is exactly what I was hoping to see in the debut. I remember it was when he threw like a spin, not even a kick, he just went out and Dusko kind of went up against the cage and almost tipped over himself. I was like, Dusko knows what he's dealing with here, in that sense. So, and then with the Petrosian fight, I remember saying, was that fight in the works a lot longer than it was before they actually announced it?
Not a lot longer, nah. It wasn't not a lot. Nah.
I remember seeing that fight.
Talks about it. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, anyway. Could have been some other stuff in the background.
That is a really tough second fight in the UFC for someone. You see some of the I'm not going to say anything about it, but Bo Nickel is one of the more hyper guys in that division. His debut was Jamie Pickett, and his second fight would have been Tresean Gore. These guys aren't exactly the top. These guys have very minimal experience, stuff like that. But Petrosian, especially for someone who's a striker, that's not an easy fight to debut. His only loss in the UFC was to Kyle Bahalio, people are saying he's the next champion. You rewatch that fight, damage-based score, and Petrosian beats him. I'll be honest, I've rewatched that fight. Petrosian should have got that fight done.
Bro, looking at that, sorry to cut you. Looking at the fight with Petrosian, because I watched it. I watched it live and I watched it back, and there was not a lot in that fight. Like, in my opinion, first round was Christian's, second round was Arman's. If Arman didn't get that takedown in the third round, Christian beats him. Christian gets the W. You get me? Christian, he hurt him with the elbow in the third. Cut him up. One thing I'll say about Arman, big him up, his head movement was elite. His head movement and, fundamentals. You get me? Fundamentals. Some of the stuff Christian was throwing, a lesser man than Arman is going out. Sleep. Good night.
Arman is a really good, just meat and potatoes, basic kickboxer. I don't mean basic in a bad way. I mean he's got the fundamentals down to the best. He's got better striking than some of the guys that are in the top 10 of that division. I think the third round was unanimously scored to Christian because of the damage. Because you watch that fight, the third round at least, very even. I don't think the takedown did much to sway the judges, especially when he visibly rocked him and he cut open that cut under his eye. It was a really competitive fight, and I remember showing this to you. The stats for Arman's other fights in the UFC, he runs away. He's 140 strikes. Christian made it a lot more competitive than that. At the point, Arman didn't just run away with it. He made him work for it.
People need to know Christian here to stay, man. He's here to stay.
1,000,000%. He just turned 28 recently as well, and like that is saying enough. With all the amateur experience, I'm saying this. I've died in this hill for a while. He will go down as a UFC middleweight champion. It's all said and done. That's my belief. I know that after that fight, people are going to say, "You're delusional. Can't say that. Look what just happened." People don't get it, man. That's all. Some people know, some people don't. Do you know what I mean? That's how it is. But with that fight, I have watched it back. No word of lie, probably about 15 times since it happened. I've rewatched that fight, making sure I can break down everything I can possibly of it. And it's not a fight where there's nothing to learn. I don't even think it was that. Like you think of this. I don't think he was even outskilled on the feet. I just think Petrosian had a more solid game plan in there. I think maybe at the beginning, Christian tried to rush it a little bit, and maybe was throwing it a bit too much. Because after every attack, he would throw a spin in that, which is. What you watch Cage Wars fights, it doesn't do that. It's not. It's a lot more calculated. It's a lot more set up. It's setting up with the basics. Even the fight with Dusko, that's why he looked so calm. But against Petrosian, I think Petrosian kind of just took his gun a little bit better. In that sense, I don't think he was even outskilled in the feet. What do you think of that?
Not at all, man. I think Petrosian's camp definitely did their homework and seen because it's the flash stuff that will catch you because it catches them off guard. So I think that's what they worked on. Christian's a great fighter. I think in that fight there, 100%. if he was just doing more basic stuff, I reckon he would have clotted off Petrosian. You get me? But you're on the big stage. You want to put on a show. You want to entertain, and everybody wants a highlight reel. And Christian is a walking highlight reel. You get me? He just does his thing. Let him land in it. Let him land.
That's what I'm saying. It could have been also like. He is the undefeated guy. He is the human highlight reel. Basically, look at all of his finishes. They're all crazy. Maybe trying to kind of perform that too much rather than doing what got him in the first point, what set up those highlights. But still, like I said, I don't think that's going to change much going forward. I touched on it with the debut. How much does him walking out to the Fly Team song mean for you? Because throughout Cage Wars, he walked out at the start and it integrated it into all the different ones he wore. He walked out to against Jahmel Montanna, against Dimitrov. How much does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world, man. Like I said, Christian and my younger brother were best friends. Like, them two there were thick as thieves. Like, mad. Like I said, little terrorists, always terrorizing me when we was younger. And to hear him walk out to my brother's song in the O2 and like on the big stages and all them kind of things there. Like, me and my boys are in the crowd at the O2 singing the song word for word. People looking at us like, how the fuck do you guys even know this song? Yeah, man, crazy. Like my mom's not well. She's ill at the moment, and when she sees Christian represent my brother like that, it brings tears to her all the time. Like, she always stays up, watches his fights, always asks how he's getting on with his fights and all them kind of things there. And she just loves how she's always repping for my brother Joel. He
is just a genuinely great person. Maybe I don't know well enough to say that, but that interview I did with him, the time that he did it at, the fact they stayed on afterwards to speak to me about just anything, that was showed to me like that. I've never had that experience with a fight before, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And for him to do that, that showed me that this guy is just a genuinely good person who does care about people.
Yeah, man, trust me, good people, man. Good brother, that man.
What do you think is next for him? There's not a fight or anything lined up. What would you like to see next to him, like a return date, an opponent, anything in mind?
We need to get a nice, solid, in terms of return date or opponent, I don't know. That's out of my out of my expertise and all them kind of things there. I just know when he gets a date and I'm needed, I'm there to just try and rough him up as much as I can and just rush him. Obviously, size and strength is what's that's my thing there to help him out. You get me? But yeah, man, I just want to see a good win, a good convincing win for all those bullshit talkers or them dog shit mouth people. Sorry about my language. What if people want to come try to talk shit after the Petrosian fight? Yeah, because they lost a couple of quid because they're gamblers and all that. Get me?
Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
I'm just trying to see, Christian to get that good win. Yeah. And people to put some respect back on the man's name, you get me? Because trust me, when this brother is a world champion and he's lifting gold, yeah, everybody's gonna act like they was there from the start and they weren't talking their shit. You get me? Keep the energy.
I said what we want is a decisive win because Christian, like other fighters would have celebrated that Dusko KO running around the cage, celebrating that. He put his hands in his head and was like, "Fuck, that's not how I wanted that to go. That is not. We want a CLD we want vintage CLD basically. We want a CLD Cage Warriors finish, big celebration like that." Like, exactly. You hit the fucking nail on the head there. It's not people who care about the fights. It's people who bet on the fights, don't know about the sport, and then the fans go, "You told me about this when he lost," and they go into comments saying, "This guy's fucking shit. How did you get it?" It's always that's what that is, man. You hit the nail on the head with that.
I got time anyway. I'll sit and argue with people on fucking Twitter and Instagram and all them things. I don't give a shit. I'll talk shit and I'll bring up people's mums and all that. You get me? I don't care. I'll ride for my bros. Pause.
Bro, all the DMs I've got on Twitter, man. Trust me. But yeah, what did you think? I remember I suggested the Madison Square Garden card in November with Jones, Stipe, rumoured co-main is to be Leon versus Colby. That's not official though. That would seem pretty ideal. What do you think?
That would be lit.
Definitely.
That's like my favorite card of the year because that's my birthday weekend every year. Yeah, so if he was on that, I would definitely have to try and get there. I'm supposed to go to Amsterdam that month, but I would definitely cancel it and go over to New York and go support that and go help with the preparations and all them kind of things there, man.
That's it, because CLD always says Jones is one of the guys that he first started watching when he got into MMA to learn the style from. So that would be a great, and obviously Leon being the British champion. What level of opponent do you think should be next for him? Like what kind of test should be getting next? Is what I mean.
Because he's only second fighting. He's 1-1. I wouldn't say there's a specific level for him. I'd say get a good win with whoever they put him in against next, and then he's got to get top 15, and then from top 15 you get top 10, and you just work your way up. You get me? But I don't see it's not going to be very long till he's in the top 10. I don't think.
I think this time next year we're looking at the entry to the top 15, and from his young age, I don't think he even has to rush it in that sense.
I think he's definitely going to have one. Sorry, I think he's definitely going to have another fight this year. So that's in 3 fights this year already from March up until you get me.
It was a really quick turnaround from London because obviously didn't take any damage.
Exactly. So he's definitely gonna get some good numbers up on the board still, fight wise.
Typical UFC, man. I was saying it's either got to be Sabiki Dumas or Abu Zaita, and then they match them up against each other in Abu Dhabi. That's fucking typical UFC to do that to me, man.
Yeah.
Do you play a lot of video games? Because I remember on Twitter, I think it was you're speaking to Matty Byfield about recommending some video games to him. Do you play a lot of games?
Yeah. I'm a big gamer still. Big game. I was just gaming before we did this.
I think you said like Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. I need to ask you about The Last of Us, right? Because The Last of Us 2, very split opinions. Like people said it was the worst thing ever. People really liked it. What do you think of The Last of Us 2?
I reckon it's sick. I reckon both of them. Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2 is sick still. I reckon they did Joel dirty though.
That is the main thing. That is the complaint that I can see where people are coming from now.
But, Joel was a bad man in Last of Us 1. They didn't do me like a pussy in number 2 still. But people get old in it. It's realistic. It's realistic still, but now.
He let his guard down. You know what I mean? That's what the point of it was. But when I remember played it after all the hype had died down from it. I remember expecting the fucking worst thing ever. I remember playing it, going, "This isn't that bad. Dude. It's fun. The gameplay's fun. The story's quite good. Graphics are fucking great."
Yeah. I only played them last year, so it's fresh in my mind. You get me? I only completed them last year, but yeah, man. I do my gaming stuff. Probably got like all the consoles. I got Xbox, PS5. I just bought a game, like a little handheld gaming PCs. ROG Ally, just got one of those. My son's into his gaming as well. Like, he's only 4, but he's got my little Nintendo Switch. Yeah. Obviously, he watches what daddy's doing and that. You get me? But yeah, man. I use the PS5 for my single player games, Xbox for the multiplayer games.
I mean, how good's got to be, because I'm assuming it'll be UFC 5. It's just coming out, I think, later this year. UFC 5, COD gets added. How sick is that got to be for you?
That was sick. See him on there would be cold still. I don't really play UFC though, because you get some sweaty people on there, man. I'll play career mode or something like that. If I go online, I'll get smacked up. Christian's a gamer though as well still.
Is he? I didn't know that. What does he play?
Christian's bad on Call of Duty. He's sweaty still on Call of Duty.
I didn't expect that, honestly. That's quite a surprise. But
Yeah. Bad boy on Call of Duty still.
That's funny, man. So we'll talk about that. Yeah. What was it? I was just about to ask something. I can't remember what it was. Shit, man, that's annoying. I was about to say something. Sorry, man. I'm going in the fucking video game conversation. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, with CLD, how does he handle those type of losses? Because he is very quiet on social media. He keeps to himself all the time. How does he react to them things? Because it seems like he take those very well in the cage after his Josie fight.
Yeah, his mentality is good, man. Still, they don't ever seem to bother him. To me, like, obviously, people's got their own demons and they handle things how they handle them. But as well, our coach Mark is very good in terms of getting us in the right mentality, win, lose or draw. Like straight after the fight, he's telling us if we've done something, he's telling us straight what it is, what you've done wrong. Good, he's just good at reflecting. So when I spoke to Christian after the fight, he was in good spirits and all that. So
that's good to hear, man. Because in the cage after the Petrosian fight, it didn't seem like he took it too hard. That's what I like about Petrosian as well. Petrosian was very respectful.
Yeah.
As well. I think that's all I've got here. I mean, I took you for 25 minutes. I feel a bit bad. I think I was expecting like 10 minutes, and I ended up going on a little bit. So
it's cool, man.
All right, well, that is it, man. I've left all of Jahmel's socials at the bottom of the screen. A lot of fighters for my UK regional fans to go and research there. And see you next time on the Jahmel MMA series, man. Good talking to you.
Big up yourself, my bro.